Hey guys, Kev here, and I want to talk about the EMPEDC Nymble X 3.5. And obviously I want to show you the original as well. But I got this prototype in from EMPEDC. Shout out to John Rusk over there. He is an absolutely fantastic dude. This is the box I got it in. It should come in a box like this. This is normally how the knives come. I believe usually they're labeled here. This is a prototype, and you get some stickers in here as well. So that's your packaging, most likely. There's not really many changes to this, a couple of small ones. I do need to Loctite this guy. That one of the changes may help with that as well, but it does like to come off center a little bit. Again, prototype. Keep that in mind. The production version will be dialed in. I have no doubt because I handled the this is actually a prototype of the V2, and man, it's pretty much perfect if you think about it compared to I have a V1 and it's pretty much identical. There's a couple of small changes from the V1 to V2 Nymbles. But this prototype is absolutely just spot on. Now, this is actually a new model. That was an existing model of version 2 of, right? So this is going to be a little different. There are going to be slight changes, and I had the Thick Boy prototype as well. And you should have seen from the prototype to the production. The prototype was awesome. The production was absolute money. So I have no doubt that this will come out extremely well in the production version. But this prototype is amazing as well. So first, let's get into the 3.5, and then we can kind of do a comparison, and I'll tell you my thoughts. Because I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, do I go with a Nymble? Or if you already have one, do I just stick with that? Or do I pre-order the 3.5? So the 3.5 is going to be dropping in a pre-order in the next month-ish. Okay, so I don't have an exact date yet. But rest assured, you will be told on Instagram by myself, by John, EMPEDC, and by others. I have a whole list of people that this knife is going to. It's going to Neves Knives next, Jared. And I believe from there it goes to Brandon Thrasher, Stevie Wonder Woman, Z-Man's EDC, NAF Sergeant. Then it's coming back around, I believe, Tier 1 Gear and EDC. And then it's coming back East Coast style to Backpack B, Knives, Fast, Grady's Gear. Again, I have a whole Addicted to Knives. I got a whole list. I'm going to try to keep it to 3 to 4 days each so that we can get videos out there for you before the pre-order. We want you guys to have as much information as possible by then and as many opinions as possible. That's the important thing, I think, with the prototype. You can see it, right? You can get an idea of how the action is from my video, right? But you're going to want to resonate with a certain reviewer, right? And you know, we're not hitting everybody, but maybe Neves Knives is the guy that when he loves a knife, you love a knife, right? Or maybe it's me. Maybe it's Chris from Grady's Gear. So we're trying to get to as many guys before the pre-order so that you can get those opinions and weigh this yourself. Now, again, I'm guessing these are going to be priced around the same as the Nymble. Size usually does not matter very much when it comes to cost. A lot of people think that like a small knife is cheaper than a bigger knife to make. Not really, guys. Honestly, if you think about it, a small knife could be harder to make because these machines have to hold the parts that they're machining. So the smaller the part, the harder that is, right? Anyway, it should be around the $280 range is what I'm guessing. Okay, let's get into it. It will come in this sheep's foot version. This is the sheep's foot. And then you will also get an option for the traditional spear point version. And I initially, when I unboxed this on the live stream the other day, you can check that out if you want. I wasn't like super blown away by the sheep's foot. I kind of expected more of a traditional sort of sheep's foot. I like a sheep's foot that has more of a straight edge to it. But this is really good. And what I like about it is that it does actually sort of look a little bit like the spear point. So some people were calling it a sheep's spear or a spear foot, a spear foot. And I do like that because let's say you're doing the pre-order and you miss out on the spear points and all that's left is the sheep's foot, right? Well, you're not, you're still going to have a matching set. It still looks close enough to it that it's, that it kind of matches, right? Like these are both reverse tucks. One's a sheep's foot, one's a spear point. They're basically the same, right? So I just wanted to kind of point that out, but it does come in two blade shapes and it will come in various handle size or various aesthetic flavors. I'm sure there's going to be the dark bronze with satin. This version, the reverse tux. I'm not sure what else he's doing yet. I don't want to speak out of turn. You can always check out EMPEDC on Instagram. That's all going to be linked below, and you can get more details. But yeah, getting into this 3.5. So aesthetically, it's a Nymble. I love it. I love the look of the Nymble. I love how it looks closed. I love the frag pattern, right? I love the reverse tux. I'm normally not that kind of guy when it comes to coated blades. This was gifted to me by John, actually, from EMPEDC, and I'm so grateful that he did because I actually really love this reverse tux finish. Wouldn't have been something I picked, but in person, in hand, I love it. So yeah, aesthetically, it's good looking. I like the sheep's foot and I like the spear point. They're both good looking in my opinion. Ergonomically, this one actually, you can get a full grip back here. So I guess I am going to just basically be comparing them as we go. This, I basically have a pinky hanging up and it's pretty cramped because of the hump right here, right? Whereas on this guy, I'm getting a full 4-finger grip on here and I got a little extra. So if this was too small for you and, let's say you have XL, 2XL hands, this is going to be, this is going to feel like this does to me probably, right, with my large glove size hand. Now, the thing with the original Nymble is I always choke up. So it doesn't matter that I can't get a full grip back here. I never hold it like this. I always hold it up into this choil. And this is plenty blade length for me, in my opinion. 3-inch blade. I don't know how much we're talking, 2.5 probably cutting edge. That's plenty for what I do, right? Shipping labels, packages, a little bit of cardboard. This one, you're going to get a bit more, right? I mean, the cutting edge, we can check that. I'm guessing the blade from handle to tip is 3.5. And then your actual cutting edge is going to be right around 3 inches, a little over 3 inches. So basically you get this full amount as cutting edge on this guy, which is great. You can choke up on this one as well. And again, this is a little bit different for me because on this one, I do kind of hold it back here on occasion. I don't have any problems with that. It's very comfortable, so it does make me want to use both grips, which is a benefit, right? This doesn't bug me at all that I have to choke up all the time, but it's cool that I can do both. It kind of reminds me of the Mallory Designs Forest or the Liangma Field Duty or my knife that's coming out with Colin Devo Knives Stout, where you're going to be able to have both those grips, right? And I like that, okay? The sheep's foot for cutting is going to be great because that tip is a little bit lower. And this is where I was kind of pointing to, not so much the not having such a straight edge, because it's not that big of a deal for me, but I do like having a lower tip. And when I heard it was a sheep's foot, I kind of wanted it to be a lower tip. Now, I have enough, enough angle here to just drop down and cut, right? So it is a little bit better, but this spear point is honestly really good for that anyway. I do have to get a little bit higher to get that cut in than this. So the sheep's foot does give you that benefit that you don't get on the spear point, but it's very minimal. They're very close in terms of that height of the tip. So there's that. The biggest difference other than the size is the fuller here. So this knife has a fuller that goes down the full length of the blade. You could call it a blood groove if you want. And the original Nymble does not. So I am pretty sure that the spear point will have it as well, but I can't be positive. I haven't looked on Instagram, but if it doesn't, then I would definitely recommend the sheep's foot over the spear point. If they both have the fuller, then it's just aesthetic preference, right? But the reason I love the fuller is something we'll get to in the action category, but you can already tell what I'm getting at, right? You can get your fingers in here to flick, and you'll see. It's really fun, guys. So carry, it carries just like a Nymble, right? It has the same clip, just a little bit different. Honestly, is it the same clip? No, it's a little bit longer. I don't know if they would be interchangeable if you felt like buying a kit and throwing on the Nymble V1. Wait, maybe it is the same clip. Hold on. So hard to line them up. Let's just measure them and stop being an idiot. I also have a spare, but I can just do this. So from there to there is 2.3. Yeah, so it's using the same clip. Interesting. Okay, cool. So that means that you could swap clips. Now, hardware is not going to be swappable, at least not on V2 and V1 to the 3.5. I'm not sure if the production run 3 would have T8 screws, but these are all T8. All around, that's one big difference between the 3.5 and the original Nymble. I'm just calling it the original Nymble, 3-inch Nymble. This has T6 everywhere, but pivot is T8. This has T8 all around. I checked it, even down to the insert screw. So that is an awesome change. I gotta say, I love that. So I don't think you can swap. Like, yeah, you can see the pivot is bigger on here. I'm not sure why, but there's some kind of a scratch right here. I don't think it was from me. I know when I was really careful when I used the driver, so I don't know if it was there or I bumped it, something in my pocket maybe, so that kind of sucks. Sorry about that, John. But yeah, so hardware is not going to be swappable from this to that, other than the clip, I guess. I mean, you could try the screws. Maybe they'd work, and you just have a different size head. I'm not going to mess around with all that. Don't worry. He's going to sell hardware kits for this, just like he does for this. It's a smart thing to do. You can customize your knife. I have Mokutai kits coming for, I think, one or two Mokutai kits, and I have a black hardware kit sitting over there already for my other Nymbles. I have 3 of these, by the way. Well, I have 2 and 1 on pre-order. So if that doesn't tell you how much I love the Nymble, I don't know what will. But yeah, so carry is really good, guys. It's the same clip. I've always enjoyed his clips. They just go in pocket and come out really well. They just work fantastically well, and they carry relatively deep. I have no issue with that. This knife obviously is a little bigger, so you're gonna have a bigger area in pocket, right? You can see it there. It's not really any wider. It's the same in terms of this dimension and the same in terms of this dimension. So you're just getting longer, basically, and a little bit heavier, but it's really not that much heavier. You do have a good amount of internal milling in there. We can try to zoom in. You can see the milling in there is really good, and that's the same on the V1. It's literally just a blown up version of the V1. We can take a close-up look real quick at the knife. He did say one of the changes is just very minor, you know, knocking down corners and stuff. He's just perfecting the design, which is what he does, and he usually does a hell of a job at it. You can see that fuller. Here's the spine. I love his elongated jimping. It's actually useful, but it's not too rough or anything. There's that fuller. Here we go. There's the sheep's foot. You can get a look at that beautiful black wash. See that? Very functional. Hides wear really well. I really enjoy using these knives because of that. So let's zoom back out. And let's talk action, guys. Oh, we didn't talk sound, so... Sounds are excellent. It sounds like a Nymble. Just a little bit louder, I guess you could say. A little bit of a deeper sound. But it has a similar feel, tactile feel and everything to it. So I love it, obviously. All right. So that is sound. So, yeah, I would give it like a 7 out of 10. It's not like the most amazing sounds, but it's good. Action. So this is where it really shines, guys. You have the same, it's the same knife, right? So you have the flipper, the front flipper, and the hole, right? Now, you can see the hole looks a little different. I think it's a little bit wider, and you have the fuller that extends instead of sort of having that groove right there, right? You can 5-finger challenge this knife like crazy. So just with the hole we're talking about. So let's see how you guys count how many methods we have. Let's try the pinky in the groove. This is why I love this groove, by the way. Pinky, boom, no problem. Ring finger, boom, no problem. Middle finger, boom, no problem. Index finger, boom, no problem. Thumb, oh, boom, no problem. All right, so that's 5. Normal flipper tab, 6, and then we have the front flipper, 7. So that's 7 ways you can deploy this knife easily, right? You can't do this stuff. At least I can't, because I'm getting hit by these flipper tabs, and it's just not deploying for me upside down like that. But the fact that these have so many ways to deploy it. Now, the thing is, with this one, you can't do that. I can ring finger it probably if I climb, you know, I can do that. I could probably pinky it if I really tried. But I'm really trying to get that finger up. Yeah, I can't get it. So having that fuller and having a larger knife gives you the ability to do the 5-finger challenge a lot better. Also, I will say, I've found that there's no location on the lock bar as a lefty where I can lock this up. Where on this, I can pretty much lock it up. I mean, I'm really going to struggle to get it out. Technically, I can put my finger anywhere. No, I can't get that one out. Oh, yeah. This one, you can place it anywhere and it just comes out pretty easily. So, I'd say left-handed, it's even better, and this is already fantastic. I love it, right? Right-handed, obviously, everything applies, works the same way. You have the fuller on both sides. So the action, guys, is incredible. The closing. So, just like the Nymble 3.0, you push the lock bar, she drops. Very smooth and drop shut on that, right? One of the changes. So, again, one change I mentioned was just knocking stuff down that I don't even notice anything, but he apparently does. John, that is. And everything in terms of access is the same as the 3-inch. And disengaging, you just push it over. She drops just like any other Nymble, and then very smooth drop, right? Now, one of the other change is these bearings. So right now in the prototype, you have 2 steel washers with the bearing in the middle, kind of like a taco bearing situation. I don't know. That's how they did the prototype, but for the production run, it's going to take 1/4-inch 1/16 bearings, just like the thick boy does. So you should foreseeably be able to use skiff bearings, Delrin bearings, Gillian bearings. You should be able to swap them out, which is really cool. So the action on this is only going to get better. It's already really good, but I foresee it being basically drop shut. Because of the weight of the blade and those better bearings, that whole bearing system being better, I see it just dropping shut. But we'll see how it goes. Right now, it's really good. It's a shaker, but a very light shaker. Excellent, excellent action, guys. The detent is perfect on this. If the detent on the production run is like this prototype, it's going to be amazing. I have no problems. It always locks up. Right-handed, that was one of the things with the Nymbles. I think on the later ones, he dialed it up a little bit from the first version. But this is still a sort of lighter detent. See how I can fail it if I want to. This one, I think that would be tough. That was me kind of, there you go. So, yeah, you could do that if you want. But I'm kind of just holding my finger in there and popping it. If you actually flick, it flies out of there. Again, flipper tab, it locks up every time. So the detent on this, I think, is a little stronger than on the 3-inch Nymbles, and I love it. And again, it works excellently left-handed. So which one would I choose? That's going to be the question, right? Well, here's the thing, guys. I have 3 of these, or 2 and 1 on the way, right? I'm definitely ordering at least one of these. So I don't really need to choose. I'm going to have both. I'm going to enjoy both. They do different things, so I can do that. You know what I mean? If it was just like a 1/4 inch up, you know, then it would be different. But like, we're talking about a 3.5-inch version here and a 3-inch. It's just a different ball game. And I'm definitely going with the sheep's foot, just because it's going to make it, again, a little bit different than what I already have. But if I get multiples, maybe I'll get a spear point. Point being, I don't think you need to choose, but if you're sitting at home and you're like, well, I could order only one, right? I only have $280 and I have to pick one. Well, you already missed the V3, or you already missed the production run 3 drop, so, or pre-order. So you might as well get the 3.5, because it's going to be the one you can get, right? Now he's probably going to do a drop of the productions of the 3rd production run once they come in, but again, it's hard to choose, guys. I think it's a size preference. If you have a big ass hand, get the 3.5-inch, right? Like, but I know some guys who have big ass hands and they love the 3-inch Nymble because it's just so comfortable. It's small, it fits your hand well, but yet it's very controllable, and you still have plenty of edge to do what you need to do. And it carries so well because of how small it is. It's easier to fidget with, I'll give it that. Like, I can maneuver this a lot quicker than I can this. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta, because it's more mass, it's more area I gotta cover with my fingers. I'm not saying this is hard to maneuver, but this one I can whip around a little bit. So fidgeting wise, maybe the little one's better, but again, it's gonna depend on your hand size. So I would say I wholeheartedly recommend both. I wholeheartedly recommend anything John makes. The guy is just, he's a great designer. I mean, he just is nailing it left and right. It's incredible to watch. And I can only hope that I can kind of pull the same thing off. So I have a lot of respect for John. He's a great guy, and he makes great products, you know. Yeah, maybe this sounds like an infomercial, but that's how much I love these. You guys know me well enough to know I'm not just going to say good things. So get one. Just you figure out which one. The one you can get soon is this one. So I'm going to get one, right? And then when the liner lock comes out, I'm going to get that. And when I think he announced the Tanto, I'm going to get that. Like, you know what I mean? They're just that cool. So I'm going to eventually have a case of just EMPEDC knives. But whatever. Just Nymbles. Jesus. So yeah, that's it, guys. Quick overview of the prototype here. I will admit I got this in yesterday, and I'm going to be shipping it out tomorrow. I want to get this thing moving to channels. I want to get as much coverage out there. One, for John for the pre-order, right? And two, for you guys, so you can decide, so you can get the opinions of the people you enjoy watching. And I've had plenty of experience with this that it wasn't like I needed to spend a week with this to get an idea. One thing I did want to say, I didn't really cover cutting that much. The sheep's foot, I love that angle, and this blade feels super thin, guys. The Nymble feels thin as well, but this feels thinner, and that must be because I think we're talking, we're looking at the same blade stock. Same blade stock, yet a taller blade. So you're going to get a thinner grind. So this is going to cut even better than this, right? Now, I can't speak to how that fuller is going to interfere. We can cut some stuff real quick and see. So it just went through that like nobody business. I got some shit here. Let's just see. Got caught on that choil. That's a rookie move on my part. So you're getting more blade length. So on this guy, I'm going to choke up into the choil and go in, right? On this guy, I can hold it back here and just go in like that. So, I mean, we're cutting pretty well here, guys. I don't know what else I have here that you guys would be interested in watching me cut. You know, we could slice a piece of this off and see how it is. Yeah, I mean, it's very thin. Again, I enjoy cutting with the 3-inch, but I can noticeably feel it being slightly thicker going through. So that's a benefit to this. As a work type knife, this is going to be a little bit better, I think. You're going to get more length. You're going to get more ergonomic grips. And you're going to get a little bit of a thinner edge. And you can go with that sheep's foot and have that tip a little bit lower as well. So there's a reason to possibly go with the 3.5-inch. It's awesome, guys. It really is. And keep an eye out on Neve's Knives. And I'll get this guy over to him very shortly. So I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic day. Big thank you again to John over at EMPEDC for sending this guy over. Absolutely appreciate that. And I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic day. And I will catch you later.